Okay guys, I told them I would set up a nice little inventory here of the process and application, just to try and get the word out there. The rep requested not to be shown because he's technically not supposed to be doing what he's doing, but he believes in his product and believes the best way to sell his product is to show how wonderful it is. So yeah, breaking it down. First off was the sanding down of the vehicle. Easy peasy, everybody knows. I went down because the guy before me had put well, not before me, but someone down the road had put on some spray-on camo paint job, and it was horrible. So I had to sand that off. In the process, it got through the clear coat, someplace into bare metal, because that's, you know, the process. So when you sand it down, in order to do just the Raptor liner, you don't need to sand down to bare metal. Okay, it can be just a scuff and shoot job where you just scuff it up with rough sandpaper, make sure all the shine is gone, and put it on. It will work that way. For best results, you know, for long term, for anti-rust, you got to go a little step further if you want to. If you're going to beat up your rig and smash the panels and, you know, whatever, and you just want it to be color matched, then yeah, this is a great option. I got the kit from Amazon with the gun for $170 or so. 8 liters. We use for sure 7 of the 8 were burned up with it for the 85 Toyota 4Runner. So anyway, let's go to, since we're talking about that kit, this is the gun that was sent with the kit. It's called the Custom Coats gun. If you are looking for a really rough texture, that'll work fine. If you're looking for something like a finer powder texture like I did, that thing needs to go right in the trash. It's not really worth it. So the rep said the basic Raptor gun will give you that fine look, but you're going to go through a little bit more product because you got to be farther away when you spray, and you'll get that fine with that farther away. So you can see with theirs, it is probably a 1/4 inch hole. That Custom Coats one, that's almost 3/8 inch hole. So it's going to suck more product, which means it's going to shoot it out faster and make it bigger particles and atomize it less. So you're going to have chunks and gargles. So once the sanding's done, then you got to clean it up. I used a lacquer thinner to clean up most of the areas. After that was done, I used the Auto Scat 2 to clean it up. It's a waterborne degreaser, so you just wipe it on, wipe it off. It picks up a lot of the stuff that the lacquer thinner leaves behind, little chunks and things like that. It'll make it wash away. So what was provided was this anti-corrosion epoxy primer. If you saw the last video, that was the dark gray primer that was sprayed. That was sprayed from an HVPL gun, just coating on. This stuff is really cool because it's self-leveling. So when it went on, it had like this crazy amount of orange peel, and then as I sat and watched it dry, it's leveling out. So obviously orange peel isn't a big deal for the Raptor application because you're putting a texture over top. So orange peel has nothing to do with any of it. But it was just cool to watch that it actually leveled out like that. This application can be used on many, many things, and their website provides all that information. I'll try and put links in the description for their website. Anyway, after the primer, I'm sorry, before the primer is shot on, obviously you're going to have to tape and wrap things off. That's a given. That's an expense with any paint job, so that's kind of not involved in the final numbers, in my opinion. And you want to be diligent about what you paint off. I said that before because I didn't paint something off, and then I ended up getting a self-etching primer on it, and then I had to go back and scrape it off and then respray the actual color of the truck because, yeah, so plan ahead. And then after that, once the epoxy primer here has sealed and flashed off and is ready, we went through and sanded out any runs that were in, scuffed them up, and any place that we scuffed that had the bare metal exposed again, we used the acid number 8. That's their acid etch primer. That was a little different color. I'm sure they have, you know, difference, but again, it was just to seal it up. And this is going above and beyond with protection. I wanted the maximum protection for this truck, and they provided the added stuff for it, and I'm absolutely pleased with the product. I'll show you here in a minute. Then with the spots that are really hard to sand, they have this Grip 4, which is an adhesion promoter. So there are a couple tiny little crevices that are hard to get into with the sandpaper. When you spray that on, it helps promote the bond, so you don't necessarily have to scuff that hard in those hard to reach places. There were a couple on the 4Runner here that we actually used this with, and so far no issue. We'll give it the run, but I have no doubt. I mean, the products are really good just looking at them. So then we have the actual Raptor Liner kit, the tintable kit that I purchased. It's a two-part system, comes with a hardener. The methodology is real simple. There's two ribs in the line. The product itself is, say you're down here somewhere, and then you add the hardener, 250 milliliters, puts it right about there. So as far as measuring wise, I measured each time the hardener amount because we are adding a tint to it, so we needed to make sure that we were kind of below the edge of the bottle. Otherwise, when we put the gun's receptacle in, it would overflow. So we reduced the hardener a little bit, which only makes it take a little bit longer to cure fully. Since my truck's going to be sitting for a week or so, not a big problem. It doesn't make a difference. So anyway, that mixture, the 250 milliliters in there, and then your tint on top of it. Now the nice thing, when they say tintable color, they have factory color kits, black, white, and stuff like red, orange. They got a bunch of colors, but you can actually tint it to a matched color. So this is a Nordic Blue Metallic, which is what do they call it? That's just the pigment with bonding agents removed, and yeah, basically just a pigment. I requested it from the local paint shop. They knew exactly what I was talking about, and they provided it with no bonding agents and everything. Did the measurements at first. Raptor Liner says you can do up to 10% of the 1,000 milliliters of the tint. I ended up around 70, produced the color that I was looking for. 70 to 80. I think we went with 80 in the final, so that's only 8% of the total amount was the colorant. And you can see by the caps, we kept the caps when we shook them. They're all very, very close. The metallic kind of throws it off because you get dark swirls in it, but the colors are consistent. So that was the number that we went with. That was what it turned out, and it was good. So if you're looking for a real fine mist pattern, their professional gun, I think it's a $70 Amazon item. Well worth it. If you want to do the fine pattern, the rep explained to me that the professional gun is for somebody who needs more settings as far as what you're running. The thickness adjustment, the distance is really killer, is what he said. The distance decides your pattern, but this gun adds a couple more features to it, so you can lay thick or you can lay thin. So like me, I'm going to do my frame next, so I'll need it to go spray thick. So it's a lot easier with this gun to set it up than have to just determine the distance with their standard gun. So either or, I would recommend it for 70 bucks. If you use it for one job, put it up for sell it for 60 bucks to a buddy who wants to do it, and then he'll sell it for 40, or however it'll pass along. It'll still be good as long as you keep it clean. So he warned me with this product that you got to make sure your cap threads are clean. When you're mixing in the hardener and stuff, you'll get some stuff around the edges, and it'll clog it up. And he's said he's had multiple times where they go to shake it, like threads weren't clean and it was not on properly, and it just spatters everywhere. So a little common sense there, it's no big deal. And then also with both guns, I believe there is a big hole on top for the air to enter into the tank because it's a Venturi vacuum system. This one has two littler ones. When you're spraying at angles and you're trying to get real tight, you'll start having a little dribble, so just watch out for that. We had everything pretty much on level or vertical, so we didn't have any drip out of these at all. I could see that being a little bit bigger problem with the standard gun versus the professional, which has the two smaller holes. So just a warning he had, when you're using it, pay attention to what you're doing or you'll get it, and don't shake it crazy like, because they're holes and they're wide open, stuff's going to come through. So at that point, that's pretty much everything that was relayed to me as far as information on product. It's all good product. I watched everything go on and it was beautiful. I mean, that's just crazy good. So let's get over to the truck here. So we have the cowl in the hood. Now this is supposed to be Nordic Blue Metallic, which is almost a silver blue. The Raptor Liner dulled out the silver pretty severely in my opinion, but I like it. I do like it. It's not as vibrant of a color as I wanted, but it's starting to lighten as it dries. I mean, it's freshly sprayed yet, so got a real nice pattern. I mean, just a beautiful small stipple, and it cleaned it up really nice. I'm really happy with the hood. So the rest of the body, it got rid of all the door dings. That product kind of just leveled and filled and got rid of the door dings and everything. Obviously I'm inside with the overhead lights, so we're not seeing the metallic catch as much. In the end, in the last bottles, he put in a clear coat with the liner to give it a little more of a shine. And at some angles you can see the shine. The one side of the body here is in direct sunlight, was in direct sunlight for a little bit, and you could really see it, and it popped real nice with the metallic. So not a lot of overspray. I thought for sure there would be a bunch, you know, I'd have to watch out for, but it went on super smooth and didn't spray over a lot. I mean, you can see my skirting's got a little bit from the primer and that, but it's still mostly translucent, so it didn't cover it crazy like. Yeah, I'm super happy. The texture is just absolutely perfect, exactly what I was looking for. And going to be pulling the tape off in about an hour or so to get a good look at it and see how it actually compares to the factory color. After this has been cured, if I'm not 100% on the color being darker than the original, I can actually go over this with a base coat. I can get an HVP LP gun and spray a base coat over of the exact color match, and it'll coat. It'll go right on it. So I'll have the Raptor Liner protection, the Raptor Liner texture, and then the exact color match to what I was looking for, to the factory color. And if I'm going to be that picky about it, that's the way it'll go. But if you do the base coat, you have to do a clear coat, so it will be, you know, essentially a paint job over top of the Raptor Liner. So in that case, kicking stuff over, in that case it will be, you know, a little more expensive. You're not just doing a Raptor Liner. But if I didn't care, if this truck wasn't in such good shape and I didn't care about the door jamb colors or everything, I would have not even cared. I wouldn't even worry about a base clear over it or anything. So, but I am kind of getting picky with this truck because it is in really good shape. There's like no rust whatsoever, and now that I've got this anti-rust epoxy primer and the Raptor Liner coating, I don't foresee it ever really having a problem. So anyway, guys, there it is. Again, the rep was just this super cool guy. He was a fellow vet, so we were, you know, talking back and forth and going about that, and it really means a lot that somebody would go through this effort to ensure their product is relayed and the information is correct. And I have the contact information for him, so if you guys have any questions that I didn't cover with him and he didn't relay to me, I can shoot him a message and ask the question for you and get your response. So yeah, I want to get this thing unwrapped and get it in the sun and see what it looks like, but I am super pleased. I think with plastic tape, if I were have to bought the professional gun and the primer, the anti-corrosion primer, total invested cost would have been around $500, roughly, a little less probably. So yeah, that's a hell of a paint job for $500. Plus you get the durability and the easy fix if you need to. I mean, this stuff doesn't fade. He had a spot in the bed of his truck that he had done, and it was impressive. I don't think I could say more, I might get in trouble, but anyway, there it is, guys. Super stoked for this. Stay tuned. I will get you when I get the hood back on the cowl and it's detaped and everything. And then for all the Toyota guys out there, here's a little neat thing. I'm going to start playing with this tintable because I've got a little left over. I'm going to try and match the color of the gray interior panels, the fiberglass ones that go on the inside of the bed, because they have a product that's a fiberglass filler that can adhere those, and then spraying them with a color matched Raptor You can use a reducer, a urethane reducer, to make it a smoother finish. And I'm going to try playing with that and see if I can get those coated so that anybody with a ratty old panel can spray it and have it look brand new. So that's just coming down the pipe. I mean, I don't know when I'll get to that, but I'm going to try and do that, because as soon as he started talking about what things they've used it for, covering seats, they've covered boat seats, vinyl boat seats, with a thin reduced layer of this, and it makes it 100% waterproof. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I have a boat, like every time I sit on my seat and it's wet, I still get, you know, my butt wet because the cushion underneath is soaked. But the other thing is, this product will actually stretch and flex with the fabric when I set my butt on it. Like, that's huge, and it stays waterproof. That's incredible. So translating that to the interior panels, I was like, man, that'd be perfect. Anybody with a red panel could paint it up to be gray, and then, believe it or not, this has come into the conversation. The dash pad. He said, without a problem, if I can knock these down and make them, you know, not so they're sticking up, I can fill those with, you know, their sealant that they have, which is like a caulk tube kind of variation, paintable caulk, and then go over this with that Raptor liner, and it'll seal it. It'll make it smooth, as long as I get this smooth and the transition, you know, get it cut down or whatever I have to do to get that to be a smooth section. When you go over with a Raptor liner, it would seal it back up. I kind of, you know, in the back of my head, like, yeah, maybe not. I don't think that's possible. But after seeing what it can do and what it adhered to, and how it finished, I think it would. I mean, it'd be a lot of work to get these nice and flat, but you're going to have a rough texture with a new or a nice one anyway. So why not save a bunch of these old ones that are broke and bring them back to usable form? So anyway, all right, guys, that's it. That's everything so far, and definitely support the product, guys. It's really good. I mean, Monster Liner wouldn't give me the time of day just asking questions, and these guys came out and stepped up like in a huge way, and answered every single question I had, and tried to think of everything and what, you know, it could be used for. And I'm a builder, so I started talking to them about other applications, and there's just garage floors can be done with this. He said you could probably do a garage floor with just that anti-corrosion epoxy primer, but it'd be a little slippery. So, but he says it's such a good product, he'd do it. So anyway, guys, take care, stay tuned. We're going to pull the tape off here in a little while, let this set up and cure, and then we'll talk to you soon.